Okay, what is up, guys? Yeah, we are back on ICC. Going to be taking a look at yeah, another recent correspondence game that I finished on chess.com. My opponent was rscare3 with the flag from Nepal. So yeah, let's take a look and see what happened. Okay, I kicked off with 1d4, which makes sense. It's my normal first move, as many people know. So we quickly get into a sort of a Benoni where black doesn't take on d5 ever. And after a couple more moves, all normal, fast forwarding a bit, black plays this e5. Okay, so closing the center down, very similar to a check Benoni. Okay, so I played h3, very normal, stopping either of these pieces from getting to g4. Perhaps even king to h2 is an idea. And yeah, so a good, very multi-purpose move. Bishop d7, which is a bit strange. Normally, this knight would rather get to d7. Maybe even this idea, with yeah, reasonable chances. Okay, but bishop d7 isn't the end of the world. I find it a bit strange, but nothing severe. Okay, I played a4. Yeah, obviously making sure that this can't be played. As is typical with many Benonis, you don't want to allow black to free himself, so to say. And knight to h5. So yeah, I remember when I was looking or playing this game, I was in this position rather expecting knight to e8 with the very similar idea of trying to get f5 in, which is correct. Black needs to get this break in, or else he's just going to get squished. I used to play the check Benoni rather regularly, and I have some really painful memories of never being able to play f5, and yeah, it's very ugly. So black really needs to get this idea in. So the point I'm trying to make is why not knight to e8? And this is kind of an interesting moment, probably the first moment where you can sit back and take a look. Why was knight to e8 not played? The reason I bring this up is after this knight to h5 move that was played in the game, it's sort of provoking me, so to say, to push g4, which I did. But this is always a double-edged sword. Black played knight to h5, sort of provoking me to play this, saying that it's sort of weakening my king, etc., which is true quite often sometimes, where white pushes a bunch of pawns and the king becomes a bit loose. My reasoning for playing this, though, was that notice all these pieces over here are sort of out of the action on the queen side, or out of action on the king side, I should say, not queen side. They're stuck on the queen side. So I figured that, okay, any weakening around my king can't be exploited anytime soon. So the knight went back, obviously, and I played f4. Okay, white needs to get a break in as well. Okay, black took. For obvious reasons, you don't want to allow this. Like, let's say, I don't know, some normal move. Let's say black passes. You don't want to be facing this sort of stuff. Not fun. So black took. I recaptured with the bishop, getting more pieces out. Knight to e8. Okay, obviously getting out of these sorts of ideas. But okay, it's never usually good if your pieces are going backwards. But it's still very okay. Okay, I played knight to g3. Also possible was b3. I could put it on the board, just cementing these pawns, making sure that they're protected. But okay, knight to g3 is perfectly alright, and I went with that. Also maybe a bit more human. Alright, g6, which is more or less forced. You don't want to allow a knight into either of these squares, really. Okay, and I played queen to d3, and here my opponent played one of two good defensive tries. What he played was f6. Also possible was bishop f6, trying to maybe sneak the bishop back, cover some of the squares around the king. So yeah, this was also an idea, but f6 I actually rather like for a lot of reasons. First of all, it kind of gives the king, or maybe I shouldn't say the king, it gives a bit more space to maneuver pieces, right? This f7 could be used for the rook, for example, and you know, maybe this sort of idea, trying to get pieces over. And okay, f6 is also a move that the computer likes, so it's liked by all. We'll leave it at that. I played bishop h6. Okay. Um, Knight to g7 was played, and I played rook to f2. Very human. Here, instead of my human rook to f2, the computer points out yeah, a very nice tactical shot, tactical motif with e5. And okay, I'm never gonna see this. This is like I'm playing 70 games a day. I mean, not 70 games, 70 correspondence games. You know, and yeah, I'm not sitting for 5 minutes looking for these tactics. But it is kind of cool to when the game finishes, look with an engine and find these sorts of ideas. So yeah, why is e5 so good? We can look at both captures. D takes e5 is simple because of knight g to e4 with this idea and serious pressure on the f6 pawn. So for example, you can't play here because of f6, and yeah, d6 is threatened already. So yeah, that's very nice. So f takes is a bit more complicated, but in the end we have the same idea with knight g to e4. And knight to f6 is coming, and a very quick rook to f1. Also note that these pieces are still stuck on the queen side, and yeah, white is very quick. So yeah, very nice yeah, tactical motif, tactical shot pointed out by the engine. What I played though isn't bad. Just a very simple move. I obviously want to just double, try to get some play on this f6 pawn maybe in the future. Bishop d7, okay, allowing this knight to breathe and come to e5, as we'll see in the game. Okay, so I played knight g to e2. Obviously, my knight here doesn't have a whole lot of great prospects, with h5 and f5 nicely covered. So, obviously, I want to reroute it with this idea. So, knight to d7. Knight to f4, alright, preparing to jump into e6, knight to e5, and all of a sudden you could kind of see that black has a playable position, and it's not as nice as it looked a couple moves ago. Black has this very annoying knight that isn't going anywhere anytime soon, that it just rips right into my light squares like an octopus and is very annoying. Great outpost. So, okay, I obviously dropped my queen back, covering c4. Also, possible is the very weird queen to d2, but yeah, I don't really get that. But okay, what I played is much more simple, a bit more human, with queen to e2. Okay, so bishop d7 back. All right, so obviously you can see black went back, allowed the knight to come to e5, and now is putting the bishop right back to that square, connecting rooks. And all of a sudden, black is very yeah, very nice. Has a very nice compact and no real clear weaknesses other than this e6 square. Okay, I played a5 here, trying to cement this yeah, queen side. Maybe also knight to b6 on a nice day could be great. Obviously, if the knight goes to a4, probably black will snip it with bishop takes a4, so that's nothing near. But yeah, so again, black yeah, has defended pretty well. Has a pretty decent position. So b6 was played. I took. Also possible is knight to e6 again, but I really didn't want to think about a position like this, where black tries to hang on to material, which is very common in correspondence chess, where yeah, even the littlest things that try to hold on to material quite often are annoying. So yeah, I've said this before. I have a rule in correspondence that says never sacrifice or gambit material unless you're 100% sure it's working. And I wasn't 100% on it, so I just took. So yeah, it's a mutual exchange, so to say. Black getting the b file, and now I get pressure on the pawn. So queen takes and knight to e6, which is the big point. So yeah, black took with the knight. Also possible was bishop takes, but yeah, they probably just lead into each other, really. So knight takes, I took back. You can't play bishop f8, obviously, because, first of all, knight to d4 is extremely annoying. Like, you never want this. If black has a knight here and here, yeah, not good. We can leave it at that. Going back, also you could also just consider to take with the knight, which is also approved by the engines, but yeah, knight to d4 is probably way more annoying. Anyways, that didn't happen. After the capture, I obviously took bishop takes, and now I grab the exchange, making sure no knight is getting into that d4 square. So, okay, I took the rook, and this is a very interesting idea with bishop takes c4, which I honestly don't think is very good, but it's interesting, and a very nice try that's worth pointing out. And yeah, so if you know me, if you know me, you probably know me for just playing a lot of Bullet and recording it and screaming. But in my over-the-board chess, one of my favorite things ever for material imbalances is minor pieces versus the queen, like two knights and a bishop versus the queen, two bishops and a knight versus the queen, or a rook and two minor pieces versus the queen. I really love using minor pieces against the lone queen. I don't know, maybe it's just my inner nerd coming out. You know, I like that the three minor pieces can overpower the most powerful piece. So whenever I get an opportunity to sacrifice my queen for a couple pieces, I usually take it. And this game is no exception. I took the bishop on e7. So keep in mind, I won a rook, I took a rook, and now I'm taking a bishop. And now, after this exchange, I'm up two bishops and a rook against a queen. So yeah, and it's also very good. It's not like the most, yeah, I don't know, most hard to find sacrifice ever, but it's still pretty. Anyways, after this, we have a very forced line with c4 check, king to h2, and here, yeah, black has to play queen to d4. Yeah, I mean, it's not so obvious why. So yeah, why queen to d4? What black played was knight to d3, which makes sense and is very human. But yeah, queen to d4 with the point being bishop takes f6. Check. And we have this position, which is very good for white, but white's king is a bit open, and yeah, it's not easy at all, so to say. But yeah, it should be good for team white. But going back, that was the best try. What black played, as mentioned, was knight to d3, and I played knight to d5, which is a very human, good move. Also possible was e5. Yeah, obviously exposing an attack on the rook. And let's say the rook moved, say, I don't know, rook to b8, then all of a sudden bishop d5 check is, yeah, that's lights out, baby, you know. Not fun. King to g7, and you could probably take either way, it doesn't matter, just crushing. So yeah, e5 would have been really nice. What I played isn't bad though. With knight to d5, okay, attacking here, and obviously putting more pressure on that f6 pawn. Queen to b7 was played, and here once again you could play e5, which is a very good yeah, idea with this sort of stuff. But okay, again, just human chess. I took the pawn. So yeah, king to f7 was played. I'm honestly not sure what black's idea was here, to be honest. I'm a bit mystified. But okay, I played rook to f1, which is a very human move. Yet again, you could play e5, which is still good. But okay, I played rook to f1, just very human chess, lining up the rook against the king. And yeah, going back, or going forward, I should say. King to e6. Still, I don't really get what black was thinking here. It seems like black is sort of running right into the center where checkmate is going to happen, but okay, no way of knowing what was going through the black player's mind here. I played bishop d4, which is really, really strong, and obviously my idea is rook to f6 and rook to f7. As we'll see, actually. Black played knight to e5, check. And I gave the check, and here black resigned. So yeah, obviously my point is, okay, black resigned here, but let's say the king moves, and then just the simple motif, and after this line, white will be up two pieces and easily winning. So yeah, going back to the final position, seeing that black resigned here. So yeah, I think a pretty interesting game, and I thought very worthy of a video. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you dudes later. Thanks for watching. Bye.